Do you think that Diddy is actually Justin's father?
I wasn't there. But Puff beat up till she got up under beat up literally till she tried to run up under the car.
Wow.
And explaining or expressing that Sean Puffy Combs, she said, threatened to put out explicit videos of her. Again, this is around the holiday time, and also saying that he would do something to the person.
He had his son bring girls over to the parties, usually underage girls.
Welcome to EliteEchoes, your front row seat to the secrets they've tried to bury. Here, we uncover the unspoken, decode the hidden messages, and expose the stories that never make the headlines. If you're ready to dive deep into the shadows of fame and power, you're in the right place. Hit that like, share with a friend who needs to hear this, and enjoy the video, because what's coming is nothing short of shocking. Now let's get into it. Lisa Heen isn't staying silent anymore, and her latest move has everyone in hip-hop buzzing. Once Diddy's loyal supporter during his unstoppable rise, she's now flipped the script and turned into his loudest critic. Why? Because her son, Justin Combs, is caught in the middle of a mess that's getting uglier by the day. With Diddy now locked up and facing charges that could have him behind bars for life, Lisa's coming out swinging, doing whatever it takes to protect her son from being dragged down with a sinking ship. This drama's on a whole new level.
How your son look like your best friend?
Diddy's been dodging drama for years, but now it's all catching up to him. Fast. That fresh federal indictment? It's explosive. He's being accused of running a twisted operation filled with coercion, exploitation, and straight-up organized misconduct. Feds say he used his entire empire like a weapon to shut people up and chase power. Now everything's crashing down. His mansion's got raided, his money's under a microscope, and his once flashy image is in pieces. But for Misa, this isn't just some fallen celebrity story. It's personal. Her son Justin is tangled up in this mess, and he didn't even do anything. She's fighting to keep him from sinking with a scandal that's spiraling out of control.
Now, earlier this week, Justin was busted in Beverly Hills for running a red light. Then police discovered he was driving under the influence.
Justin Combs, Diddy's oldest son, and once a key part of his dad's polished public image, is now caught up in the storm surrounding the disgraced music mogul. Even though Justin hasn't been officially charged with anything, his name keeps popping up in lawsuit after lawsuit. Some of these claims say Diddy used his own family as a front to hide shady moves, and one lawsuit even says Justin was at some of the wild events now under heavy investigation. Now people are asking, could Justin end up facing charges too? For Misa, that's a nightmare she won't let happen. She's ready to go to war to protect her son from being dragged down with his father.
Misa went into full mama bear mode and tore Diddy up on the internet, claiming that Diddy's act bad lifestyle is leading their son down the wrong path.
The tension between Misa and Diddy has been brewing for years, but now it's boiling over. When Justin got busted for a DUI near Beverly Hills last year, Misa saw it as more than just a bad night. To her, it was proof of how Diddy's wild lifestyle has rubbed off on their son in all the wrong ways. She didn't hold back, calling him out publicly for being a reckless father who chases luxury while ignoring the damage it's doing to his own family. But that DUI? Just the surface. Misa's been fed up for a long time. She believes Diddy's been using people, his kids included, as tools in his non-stop hustle for power, fame, and stacks of cash.
Claims she's not protecting Diddy anymore. She didn't go into detail on what she meant, but she vowed to protect all of Diddy's children from his karma.
Now that Diddy's locked up and prosecutors are tearing through every inch of his empire, Misa's made a bold move. She's flipping the script and turning against him. Insiders say she's been working with investigators, handing over details that could tighten the case around Diddy's neck. Some are calling it betrayal, but for Misa, it's survival mode. Her number one mission is crystal clear: protect Justin no matter what. And this ain't just emotional, it's calculated. Misa stepping in sends a loud message to the feds. Justin's not part of this mess. She's drawing a hard line. making sure her son is seen as someone caught in the crossfire, not someone involved. But making that move comes with a price. Now Diddy's loyal crew is coming after her hard, calling her fake, calling her a traitor, accusing her of using the chaos to push her own agenda. Misa's risking everything to save her son, and the spotlight's never been hotter. This is a risky move, one that could either save Justin or drag both him and Misa deeper into the chaos. Adding fuel to the drama, a wild rumor making a loud comeback since Diddy's arrest. Whispers that Justin might not even be his biological son. Talk is the real father could be Diddy's late bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones. The resemblance? Hard to ignore. Even former insiders like Gene Deal have dropped cryptic hints, fanning the flames. For Misa, it's a double-edged sword. These rumors distract from the legal mess, but they also sting, reopening old wounds. Still, if it helps keep Justin clear of Diddy's downfall, Misa might just let the whispers grow louder.
I'm like, he's the oddball. And I know they got different moms, so I get it.
Right.
But I'm like, I don't know about that.
Diddy's downfall has been straight up disastrous, and the shockwaves are hitting everyone around him. With his indictment out, the floodgates have burst wide open. Ex-employees, old friends, even family are stepping up and spilling secrets. What's coming out? A dark picture of a man who built a whole empire on silence and fear, buying loyalty, dodging consequences, and running unchecked for years. But now, that loyalty's gone. Misa's choice to flip isn't just about doing what's right, it's about survival. She knows how ugly high-profile cases can get. By teaming with prosecutors, she's doing everything she can to protect Justin and keep him from getting crushed by the same wave that's drowning Diddy. But she's taking a serious risk. Turning on someone like Diddy, that could cost her more than her name. It could put her in real danger. The pressure's sky high, and nobody knows how this ends. But one thing's for sure, this ain't just messy family drama. It's a full-blown reckoning. Diddy's empire, once the picture of power and flash, is now crashing as a warning sign, showing what happens when no one checks the person in charge. And with Misa stepping up for her son, she's not just fighting, she's exposing the ugly truth behind all that luxury. This fight isn't only about saving Justin, it's about breaking chains, demanding accountability, and walking away from a legacy that's done more damage than good. Misa's out here trying to rewrite the story before it writes them off completely.
Only on the stand for about 30 minutes. And the big takeaway is this story that she tells regarding the email she got from her daughter in December of 2011. This is where Cassie Ventura writes her mother and another person explaining or expressing that Sean Puffy Combs, she said, threatened to put out explicit videos of her. Again, this is around the holiday time, and also saying that he would do something to the person.
The deeper you go into Diddy's world, the more obvious it gets. This isn't just about one man's mistakes. It's about a whole system built on control, secrecy, and raw power that's been running for decades. The claims against him aren't just random. They're all part of a much bigger, darker pattern. Cassie's lawsuit? That was just the first domino. Now, more people are speaking up, and the picture that's forming is wild. A man who would do anything to stay on top. And then there's the freak-offs. These weren't just wild parties. They were planned, controlled, and had serious strings attached. Witnesses say they looked like lavish bashes on the outside, but behind closed doors, it was all about leverage. Big names, industry players, and hungry newcomers showed up, trying to get close to the man who could make or break their careers. And here's the most jaw-dropping part. Some say those events weren't just about Diddy's pleasure. They were setups. If the whispers are real, cameras were rolling, dirt was collected, and those private moments turned into silent threats. Secrets were stashed like ammo, ready to be used to keep people quiet and under control.
So this is when the mother is talking to the jurors, talking to the court, and saying that this was the first time the mom says she realized that her daughter had any issues with possible physical abuse. And in this case, her daughter saying that Sean Combs was going to put these explicit videos.
The scale of these alleged events is way bigger and darker. than anyone on the outside ever imagined. Court docs and insider tips say these weren't just invite-only parties. They were calculated setups. Victims say they were reeled in with big promises, career boosts, access to top names, a shot at making it big. But once inside, everything changed. People were being watched, guided by handlers, and pressured into silence. One woman, still anonymous, shared her story. She was fresh out of college, thinking she was stepping into her big break. Instead, she says she got trapped in a nightmare, manipulated into signing tight-lipped contracts that kept her quiet for years. What was sold as opportunity turned into a setup. And now, the truth is finally clawing its way out. What makes it even more disturbing? The level of planning behind it all. Some lawsuits claim these weren't chaotic parties. They had structure. There was a hierarchy in place, with certain people assigned to keep everything under control, from tight security to personal assistants, and even big-name collaborators. Multiple folks were allegedly in on it, building a setup where victims felt stuck with no way out. This wasn't just random shady behavior. It was a full-blown system. Some insiders are even calling it institutionalized exploitation. And while Diddy's the main name being dragged into the spotlight, the rising number of testimonies hint that he wasn't pulling this off alone.
Mother said that Sean Combs said that he wanted $20,000 because of money that he spent on Ventura. So the mother and her husband took out a $20,000 home equity loan, transferred that money into a checking account, and then sent it to Combs.
One of the wildest and most disturbing claims? Some of these events were allegedly recorded without anyone's consent. Victims say they found out later that their most private moments were secretly filmed. Some even claim those tapes were used as blackmail to keep them quiet and controlled. In one chilling account, a former employee said she accidentally discovered a stash of tapes while working at one of Diddy's properties. What she saw? Straight up disturbing. And when she tried to speak up, she says she was fired on the spot and threatened to stay silent. If this turns out to be true, it could blow the case wide open. Those tapes wouldn't just back up the victims, they'd prove the nightmare was real and carefully covered up. The lawsuits reveal a disturbing pattern: young, vulnerable newcomers to the industry being targeted, people chasing dreams, not realizing the danger they were walking into. One victim, using a fake name for safety, said she was approached by someone claiming to scout for Diddy. She was promised a mentorship weekend in music, but what she got was something way darker. Her story, now part of court records, shines a harsh light on a bigger problem: how the industry preys on ambition. Power gets abused, and people with dreams get caught in twisted games they never saw coming. This isn't just about Diddy. It's about a whole system that lets the powerful move unchecked while the vulnerable get used and tossed aside.
And I believe was trying to show that level of control that they talked about at the very beginning of this case. And then to see that her family talks about being intimidated and fearing for Cassie's safety. And that's why they sent the money, they said, because they were really concerned. We also learned that the mother's the one who said, you know what, I want to take pictures of this abuse. Again, the mom said she did not know about.
Here's where it gets even darker. Some victims say they tried to speak out years ago, but got shut down with threats and hush money. One woman, a former stylist for Diddy in the early 2000s, said she was forced to sign an NDA after calling out what she described as a toxic, abusive environment. She claimed she was followed, hit with anonymous threats, and blackballed from the industry. And she's not alone. More people are stepping forward with nearly identical stories, pointing to a system built to silence anyone who spoke out. So how many voices got buried? How many stories are still hiding in the shadows? And it didn't stop at the parties. Court docs say Diddy ran his businesses the same way, blurring the line between loyalty and control. Former staffers say it was all about power and knowing who to keep close and who to shut down. Some say the contracts around Diddy's empire were so tight they felt like chains, locking people in with no way out. And the money? A lot of it went into keeping up appearances, instead of building something real. It was a kingdom built on fear. And now, that fear is starting to crumble. One shocking claim: Diddy allegedly had his son, Justin, bring girls to these parties, some reportedly underage. And who's left stuck in the middle? Justin Combs. He wasn't just part of the image. He was raised to carry it.
He had his son bring girls over to the parties, usually underage girls.
But now, with lawsuits stacking up, his name keeps popping up in the background of some serious accusations. For years, Justin was the polished face beside his father. Now that spotlight feels more like a target. And Misa, she sees the writing on the wall. That's why she's making her move fast. Misa's move wasn't some emotional reaction. It was a calculated play. She's lived through Diddy's world, knows how the game's been played. And now, she's flipping it to protect her son. By working with investigators, she's not just cutting ties with Diddy's mess. She's rewriting the whole story. This ain't about Diddy's legacy anymore. It's about Justin's future. And while doing it, Misa's putting the spotlight on the very machine that kept Diddy untouchable for years.
Listen, when you're working, and this guy worked for Diddy, worked with Diddy, for Diddy,
Yeah, he was his a producer.
This fallout ain't just personal. It's shaking the entire music world. Diddy's indictment has pulled the curtain back on a bigger game, exposing a deep web of silence and shady deals that goes way beyond his crew. Industry bosses, collab partners, even longtime friends are now scrambling to back away fast. That silence? It's loud. Suge Knight already hinted this ain't just about Diddy. It's part of a bigger pattern. Decades of hush-hush deals, closed doors, and power plays. And now, insiders are finally talking. Big names like Jay-Z and Dr. Dre, once proud to stand next to Diddy, have gone dead quiet. No statements, no support, just distance. And that says a lot. Then comes the biggest question: who else knew? Because if what's being said is true, there's no way Diddy pulled this off solo. Whispers about execs like Clive Davis and Jimmy Iovine hint at a tangled web that goes deeper than anyone imagined.
So there's that part. And then when you're talking about Diddy, you have all the other stuff that we've been hearing for years.
With everything crashing down, there's still this strange feeling, like Diddy's downfall was always coming. He built his whole career on controlling the story, charming his way through controversy, always staying on top. But now, that grip is slipping. Lawsuits, witness accounts, investigations, they're all tearing down the image he spent decades protecting. At this point, it's not even a question if his empire falls. It's how many it'll take down with it. Will it end with Diddy? Or will others get pulled into the fire too? For Misa, none of that matters. Her eyes are locked on Justin, making sure he comes out of this mess with his future still standing. But for the rest of the industry, this is a wake-up call. It's not just about Diddy, it's about the system that let him rise and look the other way.
Yeah, how would you describe Cassie's demeanor when she took the stand today?
When she walked in there, Rachel, she had on a brown dress, form-fitting, visibly pregnant, head held high, and did not make any eye contact.
So what's next? Will Misa's bold move protect Justin or pull them both deeper into the storm? And just how many secrets are still buried, waiting to explode? One thing's clear, this saga is far from finished. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Misa made the right call? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you're locked into this drama. We'll catch you on the next one.